Welcome to another Quantum Conversation. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Welcome, beautiful hearts. We are so excited to continue our conversations on interdimensionality and galactic consciousness. My guest today is Adria Estribou, who is a channel of the angels. And as we're talking interdimensionality, angels are interdimensional and they give us interdimensional wisdom. We're going to be talking about interdimensional travel in this as we hear from Adria and the angels. Hi, Adria. Welcome back to Quantum Conversations.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
So this is really exciting. When you began to channel the angels, what was that like for you?
Mm. Well, it's pretty much a full body experience.
Mm.
So I'm in their energy and their light when I channel, but also I'm a conscious channel, and so I get to hear what they're saying pretty much at the same time as you do, maybe a second or so before. And I love to learn, and so I feel like it's just this continual exploration and expansion of how I understand the world, and I love sharing that. And angels are so much about self-empowerment, at least in this phase through me of self-empowerment of each human, and how it's really what's in you that's important. And so I love sharing that because it doesn't feel like it's about me as a channel. I'm so special and different from you. It's about, hey, look, you have these amazing skills, including interdimensional travel, and you can do that on your own.
That's really cool. You have a course on interdimensional travel that is available in the description box where people are watching this video,
Mhm.
and it's on the webpage here. We're going to talk more about that towards the end of our program. That's just a beautiful way for people to learn really what you learned. And so here in our conversation, we're going to talk about what is what are interdimensional beings? Interdimensional beings are what? Angels and higher frequency light beings. Can you define that for us, Adria?
Yeah, I'll give my best shot here. And it's an evolving understanding for me. But what I used to think was that, okay, we know about astral travel, maybe, or special places in the earth. So I live in Sedona, and you're aware there are different beings there more palpably. And there's a lot of interest about beings on spaceships. Those are generally interdimensional beings, so they might come visit us in our dimension so we can see them and hear them well. But they essentially are interdimensional beings also. So there are different frequencies that beings resonate, and there's an overlap. That's the really fun part about the exploration, is you don't have to go to a particular place or up to a spaceship or wait for a spaceship to visit you. They're in your own backyard. There's these overlapping frequencies. So learning to lean into them, you can start to see and hear, don't wait for them to visit you, go visit them. Uh, yeah, that's sort of an unscientific definition, but all these beings, fairies, unicorns, angels, dragons, um, are interdimensional beings, and there's many, many more, of course, the Palladian, the Syrian, Lyran. So galactic and interdimensional could be interchanged, but it's not just galactic beings. There are beings on Earth who are interdimensional as well. Elementals, for example.
Wow. Okay. So these interdimensional beings that we can meet in our own backyard, what is the protocol for that? I know, again, your course
Mm.
goes into how, and that's really exciting, but can you share with us what's the recipe for that? What is necessary?
Yeah, that's the fun part is it's all in you. Like I have this song going through my head so much this morning, which I feel like relates to what we're talking to today. What the lyrics go something like Oz never did give nothing to the Tin Man that he didn't already have, right? So all of these activations or explorations that the angels lead in the course or otherwise are just allowing giving us permission really to explore these new gifts we have. And one of the gifts is being able to lean into or visit other dimensions without getting in a spaceship or Metatron cube or something like that. Uh, so it's so fun. So the key I would say is to be an explorer, to be willing to just listen or peer in a little more softly, a little more open, not feeling like you have to know with the mind, because your new interdimensional self, as humans are evolving, knows how to do this. Your mind just doesn't know it yet.
Okay, that is really fascinating. So we just lean into it. I can feel that um, imagination is key. Can you talk about
Mm,
imagination and where that's not just made up, it's coming from
yeah.
somewhere?
Yeah. So not everyone has it, third eye sight or inner sight, right? I do not. It comes and goes. For me, I'm more of an auditory person. Um, so when people are trying to compare what they're supposed to see based on what someone else said they saw, sometimes that can be a stumbling block. So you can also imagine, well, what do I imagine or what do I want to see? And the imagination is very close to intention and that inner eye visual. So it's taking you there. It's one of the ways in, absolutely. And these things that we've been taught are in our imagination, like fairies and unicorns, are pretty literal. So, yeah, sometimes we might see something literally and think it's our imagination. So it works both ways.
Okay, so what have you seen? What have you seen that is like
Mm,
a non that's like it's totally there. It's totally real.
yeah, so I unicorns and fairies for sure. So this is just around in my house and yard. And there's a giant I've been visiting with, which is so cool to feel like some of these characteristics or stereotypes from fairy tales are also can be quite literal, which has been very fun to explore for me. Um, and angels, as you mentioned, are interdimensional and they're with all of us. So they're very good guides in this as well. If you're feeling like, I wish I had a co-pilot, well, you can ask your angels to help with that a bit. Um, yeah, those are some of them. And some I'm just learning what they are. I mentioned on Earth the elementals, the trees and the rock beings. So I'm learning about those as well.
So tell us about that
Mm.
because so many of us are connected to trees,
Yeah.
right? We can just feel our physical on Earth, but are they interdimensional as well? And are they receiving cosmic wisdom?
Mm. Boy, my mind doesn't have an answer to this, but oh, I feel the angels want to chime in here on this
Oh,
one.
chat,
That's
here
great.
we go.
Yeah. This is Angel Raphael. So, yes and not yes. So, there are beings who overlap in dimensions. So, not every type of being is interdimensional, meaning not every type of being can cross over and visit other dimensional spaces. So, the trees on Earth are anchored into third and seventh dimensions primarily. So you can visit them in third, but as you start to expand, you visit other dimensions of the tree. The trees are not primarily travelers, humans are. So mm, many beings can be seen by yourselves, humans, but they are fixed in a certain dimension. So trees are a little bit of both. They are fixed in third and they have also aspects in higher dimensions that you can access as you begin to see those. So it's a nice starting place for many of you because the tree is real. You can believe in it. It's tangible. You can go out and put your hand or face on it and then ask it to show you some more of itself.
Okay, asking is the key. And Adria mentioned
Mm.
that we can ask our angels to co-pilot. What is that protocol? Can you share
Mm.
how we partner with angels to really have them bear the burden some of us are going through in this great year of change?
Yes, absolutely. This is Angel Raphael. Ask us for anything. The solar light is too light, too light, too strong. How to help me with the physical integration of this? How do I understand this? Or in terms of travel or exploration, okay, I don't know. I've never been there before. Is it safe? Can you be with me and guide me towards areas that would be the most fun and the easiest for me, and things like that? So yes, don't hold back on asking your angels. We would say it's really important to know that angels are with you all of the time. You don't have to know their names, but each human has angels, very, very rare exception to that. So you don't have to earn them or activate them. They're right there with you. So you just start talking to them inside your head or out loud or on a piece of paper and ask for their guidance and assistance in this.
As you were sharing right there, I got a bing, a buzz in my ear on this side.
Mm.
And that to me, from my experience, is pay attention. Pay attention. Can you share on what
Mm.
is happening with ear ringing? And is it different on each
Yeah,
side? Can you share?
yeah. This is Adria. I'll speak a little from my experience here first and then see if the angels want to add. Because I think many people have said that ear ringing is when you're getting a download or sort of integrating new information. I've experienced that. I think there's truth to that. Also, one of the things that's been surprising about interdimensional travel is so for me, again, hearing is more primary, is sometimes I don't see anything and I don't know what kind of beings, but I hear it sounds different. So I'll visit another dimension and I'm hearing a sound, maybe a frequency I've never heard before. And so part of it is just allowing, oh, I don't yet know what this is. I know the angels are here and it's safe to just experience it a little. And so the angelic and other realms do have a sound to them. So some of you that are having these waves of sound may be having interdimensional experiences as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's why we pay attention when we get those ear ringings.
Yes.
When you mention that you visit other dimensions and you hear things differently there,
Mm.
share with us. Tell us what that's like and how do you identify? You just know from the energy. How would we identify that we're going to another dimension?
That's, I don't have an easy answer to that, except that in these experiences I'm talking about, it was in the context of the angels leading an exercise into interdimensional exploration, which is in the course, many of these exercises. So in that context, I knew that that's what was happening. So then once I've done that once or twice with the angels, then when it comes up on my own, let's say the solar light's really active and it's the middle of the night and I hear something, or I I might have that curiosity, oh, I think this might be interdimensional light coming in here right now. But the mind doesn't, my mind doesn't really know. I know you have other guests who more can detail in more scientific accuracy what's going on. But it's a palpable feeling of, oh, this is different, even though I'm still sitting here on this chair wherever I like to meditate or do these kinds of exercises. Something's really different. And so sometimes I do see um, with the inner eye beings, but a lot of times it's more this palpable feeling or sense, different kinds of sensation, even a smell or a taste for some people, or the hearing.
Okay, all right. So your course, we're going to talk about your course for just a moment here
Mm.
because you teach people the protocols and let's call it a recipe for interdimensional travel. And there's exercises for this. So the one requirement is getting out of the head and into the heart, right? Why
That's
is it so important?
That's one of the ways. So I'm sure there are many ways of interdimensional travel, and I definitely am not teaching all of them, which is beautiful that it's not just one way, right? So through the heart is one of the ways of travel. You can also travel through the senses and through intent, and you mentioned imagination. So each of these exercises in the course, you're going to be led by the angels into the several different ways of travel. And then there's people have asked questions, and I've added some content from my private member groups where they were asking follow-up questions, let's say the following week. So it gets pretty deep into, wait, how does this really work? When I tried it out, this happened. And so it is very explorational, I'd say, rather than a system of certain words you learn. Because it's something that we know how to do, it's in us, but it helps if someone takes us through it the first time, and then we can explore on our own. Or you could, of course, keep revisiting the same guided exercises.
Beautiful. Okay, that course again
Mm.
is available on this webpage that got everyone here, and it's in the description box where you're watching this video. So
Mm.
solar light, the light, we really are receiving assistance from the angels bringing this light into our body. Why is that so important, and what is it doing?
Yeah, this is huge, and I think we're just on the cusp of this, but my understanding is the solar light is activating these 12 very pure strands of, you could call them galactic or interdimensional DNA. So angelic is one of them, dragon is another, for example, Pleiadian, Syrian, Lyrian. So we have these. It's not us in a past life or our true starseed self or something like that, but the purity of these strands of DNA that are being awakened by the solar light. So two things essentially are happening. These different 12 different centers are activating, and our capacity to have the bandwidth to utilize those skills and ways of perception is broadening. So a little gradually, so it might take 7 months, let's say, for someone typically to go through this kind of transformation. So we're going from having the bandwidth of about one of these to, let's say, three or four at a time. So not every hour will we have all 12 active, but you could keep switching it up. So this hour I'm leaning into dragon and angel, and then some Palladian perspective is coming in. So it'll be very fluid, is my understanding. But that's very new and also very uncomfortable Ooh, during the growing pains process. So there's also in the bundle here is transmission that the angels lead us through, absorbing these light codes, digesting them, so to speak, and making it a little easier on the physical self to integrate.
Yes, all right. That is really very, very interesting. So we are learning how to move between the dimensions on the solar light, feeling the solar light and trusting what we get, and calling on these various realms, asking these various realms. That's really important that we ask. The students that you work with, what
Mm.
are some of the experiences that they are having?
Mm. Um, so in one of these, one of the students has been very, very interested, asking to have galactic experiences. So I think in the first interdimensional travel exercise, she went right to seeing the lights of a spaceship, and the beings there. So several people, one of the realms we visit intentionally is the angelic realm. So several people had experiences of that as qualities of light or sound. And it's been very mixed. That's the fun part, is usually we're instinctually going to where we want to travel instead of as a group all going to seventh or fifth, you know. Um, yeah, so those are some of them.
Really exciting because we are thinking about, this year being a powerful year
Hmm.
for galactic consciousness and
Yeah,
contact, actually. So when we're
yes.
talking about ETs and UFO and disclosure, we the people are disclosure. Does that make sense to you? Would you agree with that?
I'm not sure quite what that means, except where that takes me is that we're activating these different galactic parts of ourselves as well. So there's two aspects of this. There's traveling to meet beings who are conscious living beings who are alive right now, but there's also activating that consciousness, the pure DNA consciousness of those same uh, galactic histories and perceptions, ways of perceiving. You could imagine that someone who grew up as human has a different way of viewing the world than someone who grew up as a dragon. And we also have different ways of seeing light visually through the eyes, right? So there's the conceptual societal perspective, and there's also physical differences. And so we are integrating that as well.
Yes. Okay. So here we are. We can travel through meditation, right? Is it
Mm.
primarily through meditation that we're able to visit these other dimensions and have these experiences?
It's similar to meditation, but so if you've meditated and that can help, but this can also be, I do this when I'm literally standing in the yard, or we're talking about putting our hand in a tree, or when my
Uh-huh.
eyes are open. And so it's not strictly that, because I think many of us had that tool. We've had that for a long time, of being able to kind of let the body sit here and be a bit dormant and go off somewhere in their meditation. But the difference is this is happening with our whole body. We're actually traveling into these dimensions instead of just viewing the remote viewing, or I don't know how meditation works from a scientific perspective, but it's not so embodied necessarily in this kind of interdimensional travel. What's new for humans now is we have this capacity in our physical body to go there, to these dimensions. And that
Wow.
again is something to get used to, right? That's part of what we're calibrating to. It's a lot of energy, a lot of different frequencies.
Okay, that is a really good point. Thank you, Adria. We're doing this in with the body. We're doing this
Mhm.
with the body. And so we're still here. We're still very present
Yes.
right here. And so then that's that feeling. Again, the feeling is so important, right? That is how we would know, or is there information that we gain,
Mm.
wisdom, by just being very present and moving into dimensions? It just seems like, how would we know? But we're doing it on a
Yeah.
DNA level.
And this is one of the things that the angels emphasize, which I love, is they have us come back to, what do I know about this? Because there's
Yeah.
that tendency to say, well, if someone else has written a book about this, or I don't know, we put a lot of authority outside of ourselves that someone else knows about this, but we're all new to this. So simply asking yourself this question, what do I know about this? And for some people, they're going to get a visual impression. For some people, it'll be the sense of knowing. And for some people, yeah, might hear something. And that's the part where it's just relaxing, softening the mind a little bit. Okay, I got some impression or I got something. I don't know it all yet, but starting to trust your own impressions and knowing about what's going on.
There you go. Yeah, that is really key. So do you just ask, what do I know about this?
Yeah,
And again, you
absolutely.
said relaxing the mind. So that's really this wisdom that we know within us. So that
Mm,
takes a deep level of trust, self-trust,
yeah.
to know that there's something there and that we're not just making it up. That really is the key. So many of us are like, but yet how do I know it's real?
Yeah.
Well, it's real. And then the dream space could even continue that and then say, now do you believe it's real? All right. So, wow, that's really important is to relax the mind enough. I can still hear people saying, yeah, but it's just my imagination. What do you say to that?
Everything that's okay, new, like tying our shoes, used to be so hard. Like I just imagine that for all of us, that was so hard the first time, right? It's just impossible. And now we don't even think about it. And so all of this is having the courage or the interest, the curiosity to just try. And then, okay, not expecting it'll be so perfect the first time and try again. And so for me, I've built trust through experience over a lot of years. So I didn't start out trusting myself. I very much was the case of putting the authority outside myself, where the teacher, the meditation teacher, is the one who knows, and I'll just follow. But humankind's ready to step out of that kind of hierarchy, right? And for us to be more empowered about what do we know. And you can test it though. One is explore and practice, but also ask your friends what they're perceiving or compare. Is what I perceived similar to what a teacher's saying on YouTube, or someone else, if I have clients, are the clients also saying that where I took them was what I saw? So you also do get feedback from other people and from the world. So it's not just you in a bubble, right?
And so hindsight helps build that muscle of trust, let's call it,
Yes, yes.
as you were able to look back in your life. And how did you get the confirmation? Is there anything that sticks out in your
Mm.
mind about, oh, yeah, I got information and I thought it was this, I felt that it was this, and then it was confirmed? Does that happen?
Yeah, so for me, so I have the benefit of working with clients, and so they'll give me feedback about what they see or learn, and if it matches up, then I say, okay, something's right about what the angels are saying, for example, because they're also seeing and feeling that. But I also with groups of friends, we might perceive something in a different way, but if we're both sitting in the living room and I feel like, oh, I think a unicorn is here, and maybe another friend doesn't see it, but sees a light flash or has a knowing, yeah, I feel that's true. So you can have fun with groups of friends here too. And I'm sure there are scientific ways of measuring this as well. I don't tend to go there so much. I'm more for the intuitive and the sense of knowing.
I love that. And so we just pay attention to everything, maybe
Mm,
shadows out the side. And I love that idea of collaborating with others and sharing with others, asking others.
mm,
So in the course that you offer, this is an on-demand course.
yeah.
Again, we are really excited for everyone to use this tool. Check it out. This is a beautiful offering from Adria. You can learn more about it. You can see what that is. Click the button and you can purchase it. There's a two payment plan if you need help with this. But this is really fascinating because on an on-demand course, How is the best way for
Mhm.
people to work with this information? What is your suggestion on that?
I personally need some time energetically to, I use the word digest. So these exercises can be very powerful, and there's, let's say, give or take five main explorations, and then there's QAs around that. So initially there was about a week in between each one. You can do it on your at your own pace, but I like to let things filter in and let my frequencies adjust before I jump into the next one. And then I think you'll find favorites. So let's say if there's five ways in to interdimensional travel, one or two of them are going to feel more instinctual, more natural. So then maybe you just end up practicing those. But it's fun to have exposure to all different ways. The angels like to give a lot of different tools because not the same tools aren't going to work great for every single person. So you find those tools that really resonate.
Yes, I love that. And that's the importance. We can use tools that teach us how to go and travel interdimensionally. So we're going to find the ones that work best for us. That's really
Mhm.
important. And
Mhm.
so who is this good for? Is this good for everybody? Someone brand new starting out? What would you say?
Mm.
Who is this course good for?
Wow, it's a great question. I haven't asked the angels to answer that. This is Angel Raphael. There's no prerequisite. You don't have to have meditated or traveled already or for the mind to know what that even is. The prerequisite is, are you curious? Do you want to go and find out? If you feel an instinctual, no, I don't want to go, then of course it's not forced, right? So it would be for those among you who really want to have that gentle experience of being guided, held, and led through what do some of the other dimensions feel like? And it may not be your time where that's of interest, but you absolutely don't have to feel that you're already galvanized, activated, or strong meditator or anything like this. It's for anyone who's curious to go.
Thank you for that. So
Mhm.
we know that angels assist us in anchoring light and bringing in light.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
these light codes, can you explain what are light codes and what are we to do with them? Or how are we to digest them?
Mhm. And that's one of the beautiful exercises in this package too that I've found personally has been the most help to me in the last year of, oh, it can feel like such a barrage of light. So it's literal light. Sometimes I see the light codes, the light language. Sometimes it's more of a feeling that, oh, something changed in me. And for me, I'll often go through a couple days or where I feel like it kind of makes me feel ill, physically unwell. There's a lot of solar activity. And then I'll come out of that with suddenly light language is coming out or some new skill. So I've learned to trust, okay, this is really palpably uncomfortable, but some shift, some important shift is happening here. So this exercise gives some context about that. What is the light, but also how to work with it a little bit, accept it in a way that's more palpably easier for the physical self to digest. Yeah.
Yes, yes, okay. So this course is going to help us feel into light codes. And
Mhm.
what else will it do for us?
Primarily, this exercise is around bringing in either solar or angelic light, so it can be used for either or another source of light if you have another favorite, expanding our field with that, and then changing it to our own frequency so it's more comfortable for. So when I say digest, you could say integrate. It's not literally, I don't think, most of the time happening in our bowels, but I like that word because it's like taking the building blocks of something and making it into us, essentially, giving us light energy.
Wow, okay, beautiful. So we're expanding our energy field, and then we are matching the frequency with our own. That's what we're doing here?
Yes, yes. Because I don't know if you've had this experience, but I know sometimes it just feels like it's like a barrage. It's like a lot of pressure. Sometimes inward out, sometimes outward in. So using that pressure to grow bigger and then also shifting its frequency so it matches ours. It's much more comfortable.
Wow. Okay.
Mm.
So let's take a moment now and maybe hear a message more from the angels.
Mm.
This time of rapid, accelerated change.
Hmm.
What is needed in the hour for us each to show up as or do?
Mm. This is Angel Raphael. You are light. So you don't need to be afraid of angelic light, solar light, or your own expanding conscious light. You are that. So there is quite a lot of change, and there's not so much structure to rely on. This is how the world is. I know how it works. So, however, if you just remember, I am light, that means I'm so fluid, I'm so flexible, I am so strong and resilient. And all of this is essentially different qualities of my own light activating, becoming new, refreshing, integrating. So you are that. You don't have to be frightened that it's something coming in from the outside that is foreign to you. Essentially, dormancies in you are waking up and they're new. Some fear is provoked that this is, I'm afraid because this is unfamiliar, but this is you. This is you. You don't have to worry about light. You are that.
We are light. And this light, as it activates our DNA, what can we expect to bring on as far as gifts or talents? How will our life change when we bring in the light that activates our DNA?
Mm. Oh my gosh, this is Adria. You know, it's so new, and I feel like this is so much bigger than we yet understand. But the two qualities I've been noticing lately is one is how much it changes perception, but also gifts like telepathy or a certain inner sight or being able to speak like language. It's a little bit unlimited, and it's also like a huge toolbox. And if any of you have toolboxes at home, there's some tools you never use, a few that are your favorites that you never saw before, but you don't know how you ever lived without them. And so what's opening is so vast for us. And I think we'll again pick our favorites and have access to all of these tools. Doesn't mean we know how to use them right away or know which ones we love just yet. But we are tremendously expanded through this.
Thank you for that. All right. When you look at the times that we're in, is
Mm.
there anything that you want to share about the importance of doing this work? Why is this work so
Mm.
important at this time?
Yeah, you know, it's really not. I mean, interdimensional travel in itself, you can do without that. But the part that I think is so important is understanding how powerful you are and how that's changing. So that things are so fluid now that you're not locked into who you thought you were or how you thought your life was going to be, you know? So being curious, well, could I have this now? Could I experience this? Could I be a light being? Could I be a healer? Could I have happiness and joy in my life? Could I have love now? That's what's important, I feel like, is us at the center. What do I want in life? And also understanding I'm not limited in the ways I used to be limited. Now, I don't need to explore every single aspect of that, but I do feel it's very essential that everyone knows that you're now so much bigger, and that's only going to continue in this coming year.
All right, so unloosen the belt buckle.
Yes.
Expand, expand, expand. Okay, and breathe fresh. It's almost like every breath that we take, we're a new person, right?
Yes. I almost
Wow,
don't recognize myself every morning now. It's just
really?
it's
Yeah.
it's kind of intense and amazing. Yeah. It does take surrender, but a willingness, it's not forced on anyone. I think anyone who's listening to this has chosen to expand, to ascend. But it's not every single person on earth is going to make this choice to say, oh, yeah, I want to activate all these dormant parts of me. It's open to everyone, but not everyone's going to choose that. And that's all right. But I think if you're here listening now, you've chosen that. So just know it could be a little bumpy here physically. And you have so many gifts to explore, and they're yours. You don't have to earn them. You don't have to do special things, but it takes curiosity and patience and courage to know, oh, I'm not the same anymore.
And that is so rewarding and comforting to know because, with the changes that are out there, instead of, and like you yourself,
Mm.
putting other people's value or opinions in front of your own judgment is what we're all here to learn. And so once we realize that there's nothing outside of us, that all the answers are within us, our
Mhm.
own discernment is within us, that's powerful, that we're finally going to stop giving our power away, right? We're going to stop going to others asking for their advice, although we will ask the angels. We'll ask the angels and other interdimensional beings to tell us what they know. That's beautiful. But then yet we will learn that from within ourselves. Again, I think that is the need of the hour. So no
Yeah,
more,
trusting our own wisdom, and we can also trust
yeah.
Lady wisdom and angelic wisdom, but putting ourselves up there, humans are just extraordinarily wise, and I think we need to learn that about ourselves. But also, it's a time of sharing. So, not just putting our power outside of ourselves, but once we feel empowered with how much we have to offer and explore and give, sharing that. So, I do see it's a time of collective and community as well, where we feel just less shy about sharing what we know and what we can offer to others. A beautiful world evolving here, I think, where we're really sharing with one another.
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for that. And so, as we see our world where people can get really frustrated and upset or fearful that things are changing and it's out of their control, this is what brings great comfort to know that we have this within ourselves. We can bring these tools to our use. We can nurture ourselves, we can soothe ourselves, and
Mhm.
we can unlock this wisdom within ourselves. That really is important. And so here at New Earth One, we always talk about coming into the heart and then healing what keeps us from being in the heart. And then we go quantum, where the heart and the mind are coherent, and
Mhm.
we have that access to the infinite possibilities that are that quantum field. So this is really important work, Adria. Thank you for this.
Mhm.
Your course is one that does help people with this, cultivating these skills. Share with us anything else you'd like to add about this course. Again, it is on demand. How
Mhm.
long would it take people to go through?
The original pace was about a month, but again, that's focusing in intensely, for an hour or two once a week. So some of you are like, no, I want to do it every day. So you could go through it in a week, I guess. I'd say about a month would be comfortable, and then you have those exercises to go back to anytime you want to keep. Because if you visited one dimension with one exercise, you can go back and visit a different dimension with the same exercise. So you can keep going with this for sure.
So the integration between these sessions, let's say that people do one a week, that's always
Mhm.
a really great one. I would really recommend that as well, because
Mhm.
the integration period is is then we could call it integration, but it's really our practice period, right? So when we wake up in the morning or in our meditation, or even when we're outside in nature, we can come back to those exercises and repeat them on our own so that they're really ingrained in us, that they're really a part of us. That's going to make us really valuable and strong interdimensional travelers, access to those other realms. Anything else you'd like to add about that?
Well, it's physical again, so it changes you when you visit these other realms, the light or the sound or the beings that you meet. It's changing things in your physical, energetic self. So that's another reason to take a little time with this is to let your body catch up and grow and evolve.
Wow. And so lots of rest, more water, the usual suspects, right? Anything else on this integration period between these courses?
Mm. No, you might find it gives rest, maybe, but might find it gives you more energy. It's kind of case by case.
More energy, more creative energy, perhaps, getting things done.
Well, it's just so fun. I just feel it's so fun to meet these other beings. We've known conceptually that we're not alone for a long time, but to actually meet these beings is really, to me, quite fun and sweet. There's so many friends to be met.
All right, cool. Thank you, Adria. So I want to just give you a final moment for another
Mm.
channeled message from the angels, if you will, or anything that comes to heart.
Mm. This is Angel Ariel. So, yes, as you mentioned, it's a time of great change. So this tool and others that others are offering through this NEO service channel here is ways to embrace change and any ways that you can be a change agent for yourself. You're going to find this time of transition much more comfortable. If you're trying to hold on to the old you, whether that's a limited you or what you used to think was you were adept at certain things and you're not good at them anymore, or something has been removed from society or banking structure or something, and you're clinging to that old idea, but that's what comfort was. That's where you can fall into doubt and fear. So, the more that you embrace that you are fluid, you are growing, you are changing, the easier this will be. It is a time of change. However, change is not all bad, right? Only if you are clinging to what was, then it can be a lot of discomfort. But if you're open to, I don't really know what this is, but I know that I've chosen to be here in a time of great change, then you're all right because you're accepting that you will evolve.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, comforting words as we are all going through such rapid change. I don't know about you, Adria.
Oh gosh,
You felt
it's so fast.
And so that message is really good because a part of me is like, I want to, but all that stuff in the past, it's like our work, for example. It's like
Mhm.
it's an archive of stuff. But we really are starting new. It seems like, all right, there was the pandemic, that was a big marker.
Mm.
And it seems like anything before the pandemic was is like such a different world.
Yes.
So we just have to be here and act here from this point and let the rest go. That could be disconcerting for some to just let it go, like
Yeah.
all the teachings and things. Have you experienced
Yeah.
anything like that in your life?
Absolutely. I feel like even in the way that let's say right now I channel angels quite a lot, but I am aware that it's changing, that I'm changing so much that that can't really be my main modality or probably will be working very differently with people. So that does bring up fear, trepidation, excitement, all of it. And I think many people who have been doing some kind of light work for a lot of years, it feels stale, but I want to say, don't worry, it's not that you dried up or um, that that's not your purpose to share anymore in the world, but it may come through a surprising new direction. So allowing that we're all changing a lot. But yes, I definitely am finding that in my own work with people and again, my own experience of myself when I wake up in the morning, like, well, what is it now? It just keeps changing in terms of how I experience the world.
And again, the light changes our perception. And so as we're looking at the
Mm,
world, what do you do for that? Do you just like
mm.
zoom out, for example, and look at things that way? Or you're just more open to seeing many sides with the light?
Yeah, I feel like for me, there's a lot greater acceptance. So when you
Mm,
look at anything like how people are in the world or politics or something, I just, again, through the practice of coming to the heart again and again, as you said, I have so much more acceptance that this is important part of someone's journey. Now, I can personally choose not to have that experience or be in that particular mode of politics or something like that, but I can also allow that that exists in the world and it's okay. It doesn't mean something's wrong. And so that's one of the fundamental shifts I feel like as these more and more layers of awareness come, it's harder to sit in one place of judgment. Well, this is right and this is the right way. And I mean,
it's
I think we've
exhausting.
all been through that, whether it was someone else teaching us or we were teaching others or ourselves, that this is exactly the right way or the right way to meditate or the right thing to eat. And, at this point, that's changed for me so many times that I just laugh at, I'm like, I don't know what's right for me is changing day to day. So how could I say, with great authority, oh, this is right for every human on the world? It doesn't make any sense. So more allowance of great, let's all have our own adventures here and lovingly, not destroying one another. But other than that, there's not really rules. It's playtime.
It's playtime. Thank you for that. That is very comforting and inspiring because no matter what happens, we do feel the judgment and it is
Mhm,
exhausting.
mhm.
Judgment is exhausting. And what
Yeah.
if everything is perfect, right? Well, we're not going to get into it, but what if we just focus on our reality 3 feet in front of us and move from
Mhm,
there and allow, as you said, others to have their experiences. And we are in a pressure cooker that is
mhm,
assisting us in choosing love or fear.
mhm,
Really, that's all it is. And so when we choose love, what does that look like in our life? How does it translate in our life? More will be revealed, but that really is the path. And so thank you for the work that you're
mhm,
doing. Thank you for guiding people on how to travel interdimensionally in this body, in this incarnation. We're not going anywhere, but
mhm,
we are communicating with other realms. And there's a world of information. There are riches to be had from that, and there are gifts to behold. So, everyone, thank you for your light.
mhm,
Adria and the angels, thank you for your messages of light. And we're really looking forward to working on these skills within ourselves and being these interdimensional persons on our planet, bringing forward the wisdom of the cosmos as we are all star dust. Thank
mhm.
you, Adria. Final thoughts?
I just want to thank you so much for offering this platform. We can all share what we're learning and encourage one another. Thank you. Mhm.
Thank you, Adria. Thank you, the angels, and all hearts listening. We are excited for you. If you're feeling the call in your heart to work with your interdimensional travel, please check out this course. It's a beautiful offering. It's discounted for you as a New Earth One audience member, and we're really excited for you on your journey. Check it out. Thank you, Adria. Thank you,
My
all
pleasure.
hearts.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Mm.
Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.